going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull back with another live stream. Ron is joining me soon. He's a little busy, but he'll be hopping on in just a little while. He's just taking care of some things. But let's see who we got in the house right now. Russ G is first. What's good, brother? He is here for the Mcade pump, House of Crypto, or maybe something else. Let's jump back on this. We'll definitely talk about Mcade. Joss in the house. What's good, brother? B-Dubs in the house. That's right. 2 streams, 2 days. Your boy's back. Once I get in a rhythm, I don't know how to stop. All right, so I'll definitely be streaming more often. Base Lab in the house. Pat McBride, what's going on, brother? Meta Boy, Chad, what's good? Bull market's back because here's the rug doctor, Mohammed Siddiqui. Frank the Tank in the house. What's good, Frank? Harish. So, yeah, Ron's going to be joining. He's a little late getting in from wherever he was, but he'll be here shortly. In the meantime, I'm here to entertain you guys, and let's talk crypto. Throw down whatever you want in the chat while we wait for Ron. We'll start chopping it up. A little bit of news today. Core inflation CPI data came out, and it was a little hot. It was a little higher than expected. Actually, almost in line with expectation. The expectation was that it was going to rise. But this is like, the big fear is that Trump's tariffs are going to cause inflation to rebound. So not great that it came in at 2.7. I think last month was 2.4, 2.5. The month before was 2.3. And we really want to see inflation ticking lower, closer to 2, so that the Fed, stubborn Jerome Powell, can finally cut interest rates and send our shit coins. All right. Because the market goes risk on when the Fed cuts rates. So if you look at Fed Watch for July 30th is the next meeting. And we talked about this last stream. It was 3.5%. That was yesterday. Now it's down to a 2.5% rate for July. So that's not happening. But if you go to September now, the chances, according to FedWatch, drop from 63% to 54%. So it's just something to watch. Hopefully inflation ticks down and we get some favorable market conditions that align with Q4, Q3, Q4 of this market to really send us. Because that's been my theory, is that we're going to start ascending now and then we're going to peak around Q4 when the Fed cuts rates, ends tightening and all that. So something to watch. Not too concerning, but keep an eye on it. In other news yesterday, I talked about Crypto Week, which is 3 key bills that are looking to get passed. One, the Genius Act. Another is an effort to stop the government, stop the Fed from creating CBDCs, right? Central bank digital currencies. And the third is regulatory clarity, determining who will oversee the crypto market. Is it the SEC? Is it the Commodities Commission? So it was turned down. The bill failed to clear for whatever reason in Congress. Republicans didn't like all of it. So I guess they're going to reshape it, try to get it through again. But this week was billed as Crypto Week. And Trump put out a big crypto tweet today talking about we're going to be the leaders. And, he wants to pump this crypto market. He wants to see it go. A White House official talked about the total market cap possibly getting to $20 trillion this cycle, which I think is a little excessive. I don't think we're getting there. But the White House is definitely pushing for a pro-crypto environment. So we'll see how it plays out. Another thing to watch. But the market was a little red on Bitcoin. A little hit on Bitcoin, which is fine. A little retracement, I think it wants to fill the CME gap, which was in between 114 and 115 is a futures CME gap. It got down to 115.9. There was a big whale moving tons of Bitcoin. I don't know if that spooked the market. But what's great to see, and a great indicator for where we are in this market, and the possibility of moving towards an alt season, is Bitcoin is 3% down, Ethereum is over 1% up. Right, that's a 4% differential, which means that the money's rotating a bit. Right, there's more of a rotation into ETH, more money flowing into ETH. Holding above $3,000, super bullish. It made a push to 3,100. It hit 30.94 a couple hours ago, so it's going to make a push above 31 soon. I think next up is the next hurdle to clear is about 3,300, and then 35. Right, so this is super bullish today, amidst the other headlines which weren't as bullish. But seeing ETH strong and ETH dominance go up as Bitcoin dominance continues to go down. This is Bitcoin dominance on the day down another 1%. Bitcoin dominance down 2% on the week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but this is how it starts. Look at the downtrend on Bitcoin dominance on the monthly. All right, and this is the 6-month. So we want to see this come down more, and what's bullish is ETH dominance. All right, this is ETH on an upswing over the last month. This is today. So we're seeing ETH dominance rise, Bitcoin dominance fall. That's what we want to see for our alts to pump and get us into the next phase of the market, which is what we've been waiting for. We're still waiting here for Ron. So while we do that, my crypto, not yours, in the house. What's good, brother? Cash in the house. Want to see Danny cursing wildly about failed crypto bills today. Listen, man, I'm an optimist, so feeling good. I can't be in a bad mood when Mcade is pumping 50% today. All right, Harish? So not today. Val, let's look at Mcade. Let's pull it up. Look at this. Boom. Nice. Almost a 50% pump on Mcade. It's been showing some strength. It sold off hard. Was that like a week ago or so? It was a whale dumped 6 figures, I think, in Mcade and really pushed the price down. But it started to rebound. It didn't take long to get back over a penny. And then, some resistance at 1.4, this 1.4 level. So it got to 1.4, pushed down. And then, yes, House of Crypto, a channel with 150,000 subs. I think it was the fastest crypto channel to 150 over the last year. One of the fastest growing channels, House of Crypto. He's a big supporter, a big holder of Mcade, and he made a video today of 4 altcoins, small caps to watch for big gains, and Mcade was one of them. And he, last time he made a video, I think we did something similar. All right, so he's got an impact on price, as does there's another YouTuber. And I don't know, I forget his name. He also has 150,000 subs. He also made a video on Mcade. And this is exactly what you want to see for this token. I talked last year a lot about Mcade just needed visibility. It needed mind share. It needed to be part of the conversation. And slowly but surely, the team did a great job of building out the community and building out its relationships in the space and gaining awareness. And now you've got 2 big channels who are proponents of the token. This is what you want to see. All right. So I'm sure they're going to be covering it more. And there's no denying that way more people know about this token now. You don't see many gaming tokens performing this well. And I know that My Lovely Planet was on that list also, which some of you guys hold. And that, let's see how that showed out today. I forget the ticker. Yeah, My Lovely Planet also up 26%. Oh, that's on the month. On the day, it's up 10%. So not as much as Mcade, but still a nice pump on My Lovely Planet. And you want when you're in small caps, you want small caps that people know about, right? When Becker talks about Hashai or one of these small caps, they absolutely send, right? People follow these people, especially in a hot market. They're looking for what's going to pop. So great to see Mcade build out those relationships. See where this guy Ron is and how long he's going to be.
Those relationships.
We shoot him a text. 1 second here. All righty. Ron will be here shortly. Invisible Doodle is watching also. And Doodle got mad at me last time because I didn't talk enough about Morphware. So let's pull it up. That's XMW. Morphware, which is a small AI token that he put me onto. Months ago, he mentioned it, and it's been on my watch list. I finally started adding some. I think it's $28 million market cap. Solid project, hit an all-time high during the AI, during the last little alt season that we had. It went to 16 cents. Came out shortly before that. But this is a promising one. It's Morphware. For anyone looking for a small cap AI token, I've been adding to my position. Let's see who else we got here. Yeah, that's a good question. I know the liquidity pool opened up for Aerodrome. I think it's more of the two big YouTubers talking about it. And, hopefully it holds above, it's going to retrace, I'm sure. It's got resistance at 2 cents. Right? So it might take a little while for it to get above 2 cents. But you want to see it hold at least a higher floor, 1.4, etc. Yeah, the big Coinbase announcement is supposed to come, I want to say tomorrow. The new Base wallet is coming out. I think the whole Base ecosystem is going to benefit from that. And Mcade is really well positioned for that because they're right. I'm sure there are going to be a bunch of mini apps in there and little games that are going to be integrated into that app. Dino Dragon in the house. What's good, brother? Yeah, and on top of that Coinbase app tomorrow, Mcade also has an AMA at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So check that out. And let's get back into things are mostly down. A lot of red. XRP down 2%. It had topped $3. Sui was up. Well, actually down. This is 24 hours. Yeah, up 3.9%. Sui's been really strong. This is a great looking chart. Topped $5 in January. And The Simpsons, there's a clip of The Simpsons. They just had a new episode where they predicted, The Simpsons never lie. The Simpsons predicted a $36 Sui. It was a small ticker on the bottom of the news screen. of SUI at $36, which I don't think is happening this cycle. But for a big cap, SUI's shown a lot of strength. Let's see what else. Got Chainlink up, some of these guys. Let's talk more about some small caps. This is one that Frank the Tank is into. Astra AI, and they have a new reward system set up for holders, which I don't think requires people to really stake and lock up for a long period of time. But Astra AI is something that I had a nice bag of, sold it and started buying back. I made decent profit on it. But this is a project that's been building, if you've been following them for the last year. And they're kind of like, part of their thing is like creating a bank. It's a crypto banking solution. They have a ton of partners. They have a deck. They got a big investment, a partnership where I think they were doing $1 million of buyback over the next year, over this year. So this is a good one if you're looking for an AI play. And they also have a good reward system. Astra AI is a solid play. Frank says no staking required for Astra, because it's one thing that we know heading into the fourth quarter is that AI is going to absolutely send. NVIDIA is sitting at a $4 trillion market cap and was up, I think, almost another 4% today, right? Really keeping the NASDAQ green. The Dow was down, with CPI news and CPI data, but the NASDAQ was green. And I think a large part of that was due to NVIDIA being up almost 4% today. So AI continues to be the hottest narrative this cycle. That's a small cap that's on my radar. Let's look at AI. If you look at it, how AI did today, there's a lot of green, right? I think that's because when you saw there was a lot of red in the market, but there's a lot of green for AI, and I think that's because of NVIDIA, right? So that's not going to stop. This is, last cycle we had metaverse tokens, NFTs were absolutely, ridiculous. Gaming had a bit of a run. This cycle, we all know it's AI, RWA, and I think gaming will have a run also, right? And of course, meme coins are here, but I'm more of a utility guy, except for Chuck. But, if you're not positioned in AI, it's kind of like not being positioned in metaverse and missing Decentraland and, Sandbox last cycle, right? A lot of these are going to send. And right now, my biggest holdings are in Hashai. Let's pull it up. Here it is. I've been buying a lot of Hashai lately. This is sitting at a $56 million market cap. All-time high was 002. I want to say it got to a $200 million market cap. And this is something that Becker pushes and tweets about and mentions. So it'll continue to get mind share, continue to do well. They also have a lot of partnerships. They just partnered with I forget who, another big project. Maybe it was Gray. Definitely, yeah, Gray was one of them, Gradient, and another one. But they're a crypto mining company. So they're revenue generating, good community. So this is a good one. That's a small cap. When Chuck stream? Yeah, next week there's going to be another Chuck Burn lottery that's supposed to kick off today. It should be kicking off, and there's going to be a stream next week with Jordan. Chuck Boy's gone, man. Chuck Boy became Titan X boy. Became Titan X boy. So we're sad to see him go, but hey, I still talk to Chuck Boy from time to time. But Chuck chart is looking strong. This is over 3 months. This is the daily chart over the last 3 months. So hopefully we get over this 9, lose a 0. It's been straight up for 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 6 straight green candles. And, starting in May, we bottomed out along with the market. And since May, Chuck's been doing well. So let's hope to lose a 0. And Siddiqui says, we needed another banger. Don't worry, brother. There's another banger coming, man. There is another music video coming for the Chuck community. So don't you worry about that. It's coming soon, too, next month or so. Yeah, this crypto bill, where is it? Crypto bills got rejected today. So that sucked. CPI, not great. But the silver lining for today, at least, is, again, that Bitcoin dominance is down and ETH dominance is up. The total the total market cap of crypto is at an all-time high, $3.6 trillion. So the trend is your friend, and right now the trend is up, and all signs are pointing to a nice Q4 for this market. And I do think we're going to get fireworks. And when Ron gets on, we're going to talk, are we going to see a 2021 style blow off to this market? We're going to see. We have to wait to find out, and all we can do is speculate. But I do think it's going to be, the end of a bull market. Any bull market, when you get to the end of it, stock market, whenever it gets parabolic and crazy, everything starts running, right? If you were in the stock market last cycle, it behaved like the crypto market. Kathy Wood would put out a new small cap, like Skills. I remember was one small cap that she added to her high growth ETF, and it did a 10x, right? So even in the stock market last cycle, all the small caps started running, and this entire market is boiling, right? It's starting to percolate and boil. And that includes the stock market is making new all-time highs. And you're starting to see penny stocks move and smaller stocks move, right? And this happens towards the end of a bull run when everything starts moving, right? And so I do think that we're going to get a nice alt pump, and we'll be rewarded because we deserve it if you've been here holding through this cycle. Hash had another X post today with a video on progress for their new mining facility. Yeah. That's why I like Hash. I like Morphware, XMW, because, they have this real real world utility. Morphware is also in mining right now, but it's not the end game for them. It's just Here we go. Yeah, it's just part of the equation. And they're building, they're going to be into AI agents and the whole AI space. So this is a project that's been building for years now, right? It's not something that's like vaporware that was just created to ride the AI narrative. They did a raise in 2022 and had a partnership with, forget who it is. They have a link to all their, I can't find it now. There was a link to all the articles that talked about Morphware over the years. And they partnered with, I forget who it was. I don't know if it was Hive or someone, for I think like a $300,000 investment into Morphware a couple of years ago. And there are other partners and people who have partnered with them. So this is something that's been building with a fleshed out team for the last few years, and now they're coming to market right at the right time, right when AI is really hitting the narrative. So Morphware, Hashai, 2 small caps. Morphware does have a 5% buy and sell tax, which they're going to get rid of once they generate $10 million of revenue from it. And they're at, I think, over 7 million right now. So it's almost there. Dino says, I've added a couple micro caps, super small. I got to fill my bags first. Put them out there, Dino. I'm putting mine out there, brother. All right. Don't be selfish. Truck is then better than Titan X. Yeah, this is a problem with over rotating. Is you get caught up in the chop, and I made that mistake too from time to time. And you go through a cycle and you learn as you go, right? Or else you repeat your mistakes. And one thing that a mistake that I've made is the chop, right? You're over rotating and moving from one thing to another. And just ending up, and then what you were in ends up being better than what you got into. And you do that because of frustration, because you're getting tired of waiting for something. And then you have like the shiny new object that you get introduced to. So it happens. Titan X, has been obliterated. I think a problem with Titan X, I know a lot of people who like it, but one of the issues with Titan X is that there are a lot of projects within that ecosystem, and it causes dilution, and it's also hard to understand. So it's hard to get that communicated and translated to people. Look who it is.
Hey, what's up? I'm really sorry. I got caught up doing something, so I'm sorry that I later than.
It's all good, brother. I've been entertaining these people.
What I missed? What y'all talk about?
I don't know. We were just shooting the shit. Talked a little bit about the Mcade pump. Talked about the crypto bill. Didn't go through. CPI came in a little hot, but the good news today was Bitcoin's down, but Ethereum's up. So Bitcoin dominance falling, Ethereum dominance rising. So, how you been, brother?
I'm okay. Yeah, and I would echo some of those things y'all probably said about the Bitcoin going down, but ETH is up. Last time I looked anyway, it was like a 5% difference between the two of them. And then lots of alts pumping, Mcade, like you said. I don't even know. Was there something came out that just?
Yeah, House of Crypto did a video on 4 small caps, and one of them is Mcade. He's a big Mcade supporter and holder. So, and I was saying Mcade started off last year, 2 years ago, and we started talking about you. I think the first person to find him. I started talking about them, but now you've got these accounts with 150,000 subscribers talking about them. And Russ just did a podcast with Neo Tokyo. he's been on stream on a space with Elio Trades before. You know, wouldn't shock me to see like Alex Becker coming out and saying something about them at some point.
I think I'm surprised he kind of hasn't, because they're part of Neo Tokyo. But you know what, Becker in it, because I love Becker's videos, honestly.
Yeah, he's funny. He's an entertaining guy. He's a bull, man.
He's hilarious. Like his intros. Oh my god, I look forward to his videos. But he doesn't really talk that many gaming projects. He pretty much just talks about AI and RWA.
Because I think that's what's hot now, right? But you know, he was all about gaming when in the last run.
Big time. Yeah. And he says he thinks gaming's still going to have its time. So I think when he starts getting into some more gaming projects, he doesn't want to put out stuff that he thinks isn't going to go up now. Not that Mcade went up, I mean, obviously went up today, but just gaming in general has been lagging. I mean, Mcade has been an outlier in gaming. Matter of fact, OTK, I talked about that up here. Let me look at it on chart real quick.
If you want to share your screen, I'll put it up.
Sure.
People are happy to see you, Ron. Got Josh.
I'm happy to see you guys. So I really hate that I was on a little later than I thought. I told you I might be a few minutes late, but it was.
Listen, man, you're a busy man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We got to save Chuck Boy, Uno Sean says. I've tried, man. I've reached out to Chuck Boy, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I was going to look at OTK. Oh, yeah.
Share that keyboard, brother.
What's that?
Harish wants to hear your loud-ass keyboard.
I think people say it's my mouse that's so loud. And look at Say today. I mean, and I told people, you know, for a while now, I think this is maybe the last, if not the last, one of the last great, like larger cap blockchains that could pump. I thought it may be like the last one to make the cut. And I'm up massive on this.
I think the other thing that's good with Say is that it was in a lot of conversations alongside Sui. And so now people see how well Sui's done, and there's only one letter separating them, right?
Yep.
And people just, people buy it.
Yeah, before the run started, like kind of like bear market and stuff like that, I said, because I always kind of preached that you're probably better off, odds are, generally speaking, that you're going to be better off in projects in the first market cycle with anything. So I said that I thought Say would be number one and Sui would be number two. Obviously had that backwards, but at least I had both of those at the top and not, all these other ones. You can also count Caspa in that. At this point, Caspa, it had kind of pumped in the bear market some. But I think Caspa and Sui and Say are like the three that still, will have good runs this market cycle. I just think there's not any more need. I mean, there's not even need for the blockchains that there are, but there's just not a need for all these, like when I found Barra chain, I was like, all right, we're going to short this Ponzi into the ground. It had like $1 billion market cap or something like that.
I never even heard of it.
I put it out on Telegram. We shorted it. We shorted it hard and heavy. It was, here, let me bring it up real quick. Yeah, it was a pretty big gainer. This is it. Find the MEXC chart. I just like to look at a chart that I was trading. If I can look US DT.P. There it is. Yeah, so you see it. This is a weekly, but yeah, we shorted it up here.
Nice.
No, I'm not still short. Not somewhere down here. I think I got out like here or something, but I took profits slowly on the way down. But OTK. So like as far as gaming goes, and I thought gaming was going to be real big this cycle. It started out that way. I still think it'd be fine, but it's just the one issue that we always knew with gaming was token dilution, and that's why I like Mcade so much, because it's all in circulating supply for this cycle. I even used to use playable games as like a better example of token dilution, because at least it was straightforward. They're going to dilute 5 billion tokens a year. But the thing is, if no one's playing the games, not onboarding users or whatever, they can't soak those tokens getting released in the market. Like any of these node gaming projects like Myria, for example, people that bought those nodes, they're just dumping the tokens every day, you know?
Yeah, and that's, when there's a lot of volume in a really hot market, you can still eat through that volume, that selling pressure, but when the market's sideways or down, it's going to crush it.
Yeah, and even when it's in an uptrend, I mean, it still takes away from how far up it can go.
Yeah. I mean, like Gala, was a huge winner last cycle and had the node.
Yeah, but it was before all that stuff was kind of people knew about it. And it even got, I mean, we can look at it, you look at the chart. I mean, it went up, but it was a short period of time.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it went parabolic.
Yeah, the gain was massive, but it didn't sustain. So like OTK here, somebody asked me about on stream last week. And I was like, if we don't get follow through here, I'm going to start probably diversifying out of it into something else I think will do better. So double top rejection out of this, can't break through this level, even though that was a good candle. I was hoping for more follow through. So I didn't dump it all at once. I still have some, but I'm slowly reallocating it into Natix and Parcel. So I'm just swapping them straight for those other Solana coins.
Yeah.
I like this one too. Corpo, it looks bad on chart. Looks like it hopefully has found its bottom. But the reason I like it is because I think the quality of the gaming is good, is very good. And it has a very low market cap, like 1 to 2 million. And it came out at a bad time. Look where it came out. February. So like at the end of that alt pump that we were having, it came out like right at the end of that. So that's why I think it didn't have more success. But it didn't just have 1 week candle, one big candle, and then a sell-off. It had, a few candles before, and that was just an overall market thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. What do you think of the overall market, Bitcoin right now? Where do you think Bitcoin's going? In the local top and further on down the line. Now, as these years progressing, we're getting more clarity on it.
Yeah. So what you normally see in like these breakout moves is a spike and a channel. You usually see like, and this could be a few candles, but kind of like a line straight up. And then you see some kind of like, something like that kind of coming off of it. So I was hoping to keep the channel more tight and get some more gains before we had a decent bear candle. So this is not the best candle, unfortunately. I also see a lot of people out there saying, we have to go to 12K. So it's going to touch 12K and then
112K.
Yeah, 112K and then shoot off, right? And I think it may do that, but generally what you see when it does come back and touch the range low, it doesn't do it for a while. So we broke out here in November 24. Here's the range high. So it did come down and touch it, but not until April. What was that, 6 months later? Similar here. We broke out February 24 and it came back and touched that in August of 24. So that was another, what was that? I think that's 6 months too, 6, 7 months. So that's what you tend to see a lot of times when people think is going to come back and do some kind of retest. What I generally wanted to see is the breakout to last longer. Now, this is the weekly chart. I think the weekly is definitely the best chart to look at in crypto, even over the monthly. I feel the monthly on Bitcoin actually gives you a lot of false signals from my experience. So I think the weekly is the best to look at. The good thing, we're still early in the week. As far as the Genius build, I saw that now all this kind of happened quickly, but I was trying to see some info on it, that they may even be able to vote on it today again.
Yeah, I saw something like that as well. Yeah.
And that Trump was pissed about it and that it wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't that the people that voted against it, especially Republicans, it wasn't that they don't want it passed. They didn't like some of the, even Marjorie Taylor Greene voted against it, which for those in other countries that maybe not familiar with who she is, she's like the Republican Nancy Pelosi. Like she is the most Republican congressperson there is, and she will do what Trump wants. And she voted against it. But so that kind of lets you know there's like context behind why it happened. And it's not like it's dead or anything like that.
Yeah, I think they said that they wanted stronger language and oversight over CBDCs.
Yeah, that was one of it. I think that was the main point. There was one or two other things that I had heard about it. But this BTC dominance, this is just great to see this.
Yeah, what do we have now? 63?
Below 60, just below 64. But this daily candle just straight down like that. And that's why you get the alts. You know, a lot of these alts are doing good. You know, it's kind of a mixed bag over here, but on my watch list, but it's more green, and the green percentages are bigger than the red. Yeah, definitely. So this is the best sign. Even if it's like today isn't the best, you know, this isn't we see a drop in BTC dominance like this, we expect alts to go crazy. The fact is still putting in red candles. It's not looking strong. It's not in an uptrend anymore, I don't think. One thing to be aware of is this CME futures gap here. All right. Now, you had this gap down here as well. It didn't get filled. I was conscious of that. This one's different, though. And I'm not a CME expert, but I feel like it's like with most things that the higher the time frame, the more likely, you know, the better the signal it is. And this is a daily gap here. So if you change this to a weekly chart, it's not there. So that's why, like, as it went up there, you know, you kind of thought maybe it did. So this is a daily one too, I guess, but it's still more local. It's not like Bitcoin didn't keep pumping, so it's more likely for it to come down there, in my opinion, and fill it now. I mean, look, it almost did. And tomorrow, I would expect probably, you know, not like we're going to crash tomorrow, but like I would expect I would expect at best we get like some kind of little doji, and it dips down in this zone, some kind of doji that doesn't show like strong continuation. But after this candle, I don't think we're going to go like just bounce tomorrow and go straight back up. I mean, we might, but I wouldn't see that. I think you're going to get some fighting in the trenches tomorrow and stuff like that. Also depends what happens with the bill. That could be a factor also.
What do you think CPI data affected today?
To my understanding, it was more of a wash than anything, because core came in a little lower, CPI was a little higher. So I was trying to, you know, pay attention to it and stuff, but that was my understanding. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, expectation was that it was going to hit around, I think, 2.7, and it did. So yeah, it is kind of a wash in terms of, but if you look at the Fed Watch, the chance of a September cut now went down to like 50% from 60.
Oh, wow. Well, still some time to go. I mean, I think it would be tough for them to go till after September and still not cut rates. There's so much pressure on them. Other countries are doing it. I think the pressure is really mounting on them to cut rates.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, it's, you know, easy if they're going to cut, or, I mean, early next year he's going to be, you know, replaced. So the market's going to go more risk on.
You know, Mcade, I told people when it was down here, it looked like it had bottomed. Then, you know, under this zone was a deal. I'm like, once it breaks above this zone, don't DM me asking, is it too late or should I buy it or whatever. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, sure, I guess it's still a good price for the bull market, but I told you buy it down here, or I non-financially recommend it to buy it down here. And because these things move fast. And look at this. And, you know, I've had this drawn in here for a long time. And these things aren't an accident. That wick comes down right to the top of that zone. And then you saw what happened today. Because this is a strong project. And this is what you see as the bull market progresses. Strong projects do strong moves.
Yeah. And people, you know, people need to recondition themselves because they've been conditioned for sideways down for so long and grinding down. You forget that when the trend is up, how fast things can move up.
And that's exactly what confuses people about all this. And not that I always know or whatever, but the market can move in 4 different ways: a breakout, a tight channel, a broad channel, or a range. And that's the key to understanding and not being confused when you look at a chart. Because if it's in a breakout or a tight channel, then you want to go with the move. But if it's in a range or a broad channel, you kind of want to go against the move. So it's a different way to operate. And generally, the market's going to be in a broad channel or range the vast majority of the time. And so people get in that mindset of constant reversals and getting whipped around and stuff like that. So they try to follow a move, it immediately dumps and back and forth. And normally what you see is the volume or the volatility really start to shrink. And that kind of tells you a breakout can be impending. And then when the breakout happens, anything they're holding lots of times, they sell on the first green candle because they're like, finally, now I'm up, or now I'm break even, or whatever the case is. And then they sell, but they don't understand this is a breakout. You want to go with the move. So when people ask me when something breaks out, is it too late to buy? Really, the best thing I can tell you is that maybe you buy, but have an expectation that you may not hold this for months. Like, I'm going to, take what the breakout is going to give me, sell, then let the market settle, and maybe I throw that back in and gain some position, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What do you think? What's up? D-Gen's in the house. Josh, what do you think? Bitcoin continues higher on this, after this, little volatility here and the fighting in the trenches, as you said. You think we move on to 130 in this move?
I would have liked to see it channel up more. I think that guy, the whale or whatever, that from back in the day selling today, I think that kind of painted a little bit of a bad picture on the chart. Overall, I think the market's positive. I would have liked it to see it channel up better. Like, I don't want to see a candle like this. Like, a red candle is okay, but I want it with a little body like this, or something, or even at least if it went down a long wick up. I mean, we still got a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's very common in these kind of situations that you see it slowly get bought up as the close approaches.
Well, there's a saying, amateurs control the open, pros control the close.
I've actually never heard that before, but
yeah, you learn something new every day, Ron. That's why we stream together, brother.
That's right.
Yeah. Jason Pizzino says, quotes that. But it's true, because you see it often, open red, and then by the end of the day, these guys come in and close that candle up a bit.
Yep. And the stock trading and stuff like that is kind of a different animal. It so much has to do around the opening and the gap or whatever. And so many people have so many different theories on that. I don't particularly enjoy trading stock, but I'll probably get back into it, at some point after the bull market.
But ETH looks strong. You want to pull up the ETH chart, because that's really a key to the next phase of this market. And for so long, we've wondered about ETH this cycle, and you're really starting to you're seeing like the ETF inflows with like record highs. Tom Lee, all these other hedge funds, who I think there are a couple of things at play here. One is that the stablecoin bill, will onboard trillions of dollars in stables, and people seeing the value of Ethereum as being the biggest home to stable coins and DeFi and things like that. So a lot of that activity will end up there. And then also, I think these hedge funds that missed the boat a bit, were a little behind the curve on Bitcoin, and now are looking to get on the Ethereum train.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that ETH looks great fundamentally and technically. I mean, could you imagine if last cycle, when it was at this price, or all-time highs, even if you said next cycle, the gas fees are going to be less than $1?
Yeah.
Now the downside to that is that it doesn't burn as much. I had this, there's a website, I can't remember what it is, because I showed it in Telegram sometimes, that shows the ETH, how much ETH is released into supply and how much is burned every day. And it is fairly, like a lot gets released, but it's not as bad as Bitcoin. The dilution isn't. Gosh, I can't remember I thought I had it up somewhere, but in any event, but still, the point is fundamentally, it's as strong as it's ever been, probably, with the gas low, institutions adopting it. A lot of RWA is on ETH. There's not a ton of RWA on Solana.
Yeah, DeFi
as well. So much total value locked. I mean, there's a lot to like about ETH, and I think it's about to have its day finally and on chart. Like I said, you want to see a spike in a channel. more like what you see here. Like, you know, I mean, the Bitcoin doesn't look bad, but you know,
That's what you want to see out of Bitcoin.
Yeah, more like this. You know, this little swing high over here, you look to the left and look, that's exactly where those candle bodies were right there. This candle took that out. And then when you try to get a pullback, so this wick right here, that's where traders are looking for the pullback to. When it doesn't make it there and it wicks up, that's a good sign. It means that people are buying it because they don't even want to take the chance of it getting to that breakout point. They want to go ahead and buy it. And that's a big thing that I look at for the strength in the market and what it's like the sentiment and the buyers and sellers and such.
Yeah. So we think Ethereum is going to proceed on 3,300, 3,500 in the coming weeks?
Yeah, as long as no bullshit happens.
Yeah.
You know, the market's been so reactive to news lately, but the tariff, it seems kind of fatigued from that, the tariff stuff. You know, we just had some war stuff.
And there's new Russia news coming out now. You know, Trump going hard on Russia and stuff like that. But yeah, the market's kind of shrugging it off.
Well, at the end of the day, I think anything like that is just posturing. I don't think anything's going to happen between the United States and Russia. But there's not a ton in its way. I mean, you have this little swing high here at 35. You have this, these up here. But to get to these highs right here locally, there's not to 4K. There's not a lot in the way. There's really not too much in the way for it to get there. So, especially with a strong move like this is what you want to see. You know, strong move, strong bounce off the bottom, big candles, consolidation, lots of fighting, and ultimately the bulls won, got the breakout. That's what this is, closing above all the structure to the left. Now you're getting this follow-through candle. If this week were to close just like this, not even to go up anymore, this would be a very high probability like trade that it would go up there. Or, you know, people that are just straight traders and don't even care about crypto, they would probably be looking like as a 2-to-1 trade or maybe a 1-to-1 trade. But that's about what that'd be. Let's see if they did it as a 2-to-1 trade. Then it would be above the all-time high. Even to the all-time high is 1 to 1.5. That's how a lot of people operate. They don't really even worry about support and resistance so much. They care about the risk reward that they feel like the move yields.
Yeah. So alt season, what are you thinking, brother? You think we're going to have 2021 style, 2017 style? You think it's coming?
Yeah, and I talked about this a little bit on stream. I did. You see a lot of people saying what alt season will and won't be. Well, this time it's going to be only – the main thing I hear is like it's just going to be selective coins. There's two.
And it's usually the ones that they're holding.
Probably. Yeah. But, and I explained this on that stream I did, like, you know, when you start a coin, when anybody starts a coin, generally these things start on a DEX in a liquidity pool, and you use ETH for ETH and use Solana for Solana. So it's paired with ETH, like Chuck, for example, you know, there's a liquidity pool. We had like, at the time, ETH was 3,500 and we had about 80,000 worth of ETH. So we paired the Chuck with the 80,000 worth of ETH, and that's what backs the price of the coin. So it's not just like comes out of thin air. The ETH is what backs it, you know, in the beginning. So the price for the token, it can be sensitive to what it's backed with, whether it's Solana or ETH, or BNB even, you know, so there's that too. So if ETH or Solana go up, then everything in the liquidity pool with those paired with those will go up. Now, it doesn't mean that they'll all make everyone millionaires, especially if the liquidity pool is thin. It can pump easily. One person sell a decent amount and then it crashes. Like when you go back and look at charts from last cycle and you kind of see like everything spiked, I mean, you still may see that again. It doesn't mean that a lot of people became millionaires off everything that spiked. You know, it's a tokenomics and liquidity game.
Yeah. But that's why it's important to take your profits along the way before someone takes them for you.
Yeah. And if you hold a lot of a project, you know, like I was doing with LBM when it pumped, you don't want to dump like all like that, you know, just sell a little bit like that.
Yeah. Cash asking about LBM. I was looking at LBM today.
Yeah. And I put this out. I didn't even I posted this on Twitter. This was the zone that I said, you know, if you're looking for a pullback, this could be a zone to look at. But if we're in like truly entering bull market, there's no guarantee it will go there. It's hard for me to say when something's pumped because I know people don't like to chase the pump. For me to then that's generally when they send me the most messages asking me, should I buy it now or is it too late? It's hard to say when it's going to keep going if it's in a breakout or tight channel. I think that if you're interested in LBM, that this is a good price to DCA at and hold some back. And then if it hits this zone, then go bigger, go big there.
Yeah. And what's that? $2.5 million market cap on LBM?
Around that, it may be, about probably $2.5 million now with the pullback. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see.
But I like this project.
Yeah. What do you know what are they doing fundamentally? I know that are they creating an app to tokenize things, kind of like Rio is doing?
They have tokenized stuff and they have a DEX, and the DEX is going to be like you use their token in the DEX. I know that their Twitter is really active. So anybody interested, go to their Twitter page and check out some of the stuff they're putting out.
Yeah. Deepak asked about Immutable X.
I'm not really into too much of the stuff from last cycle.
Yeah.
I have Chainlink, and I think that's it from last cycle.
Yeah, if you're going to go big cap, I think that stuff that's hotter and newer like Sui and Caspa are plays. But I haven't checked in on IMX in a while.
No, fundamentally, I think it's fine or whatever.
I'm not even sure. Like on the technology, this technology changes so fast that look at like Matic and things like that get outdated so fast and replaced by newer stuff.
Man,
everyone thought Matic was going to be huge this cycle.
Going into the cycle, I liked it. I thought it was going to be okay, and I still don't know why it doesn't do better. But I wanted to find an older chart of IMX to look at how it did. So it's hard to really. I mean, nice little double bottom, decent candles. It'll probably go up, but then say it goes up to this swing high. Let's see what that gain would be. 300%. So that's not bad. That's good for an older coin, and there's not a ton in the way. There's a little bit. I just feel when I look at charts of like AI coins in their first cycle and stuff, that there's easier ways to get a 300% gain than these other ones. But if you like to leverage trade, then the higher caps can be better because they're not as volatile.
What's the market cap on IMX now? A few billion. There's that mouse click.
I actually use a trackball. I don't know why anyone would even use a mouse. So the coin market cap screen I had up for some reason wouldn't come up.
All right.
It's coming now. Here we go. $1 billion, right at 1 billion.
1 billion. All right.
Which I think that's bad for IMX. Really, I think that's that's fairly low. Rank 75. I think it can get up in the 40s or 30s if gaming does pretty good.
AI coins are absolutely. I was talking about that a little earlier. Probably top narrative this cycle. Nvidia, $4 trillion market cap, largest, overtook everything. Overtook Apple, Amazon, up almost 4% today. Again, Nvidia.
Yep.
So AI is just going to continue to dominate. I think the headlines. Meta is paying some like crazy astronomical numbers for it. Tech guys to stealing it from other companies. So it's we've seen it translate already into the crypto space this cycle, and I expect big fireworks with some of these small caps.
Yep. When we were down in the toilet Bitcoin was low and we were real bearish, I was kind of saying this is a good time to diversify your bags. And I went really heavy. I mean, I already was heavy on the AI stuff, but I went even heavier. Like things I was holding, I just put them into AI coins. I think crypto and AI is a good match. And especially I think it's going to sound really good to normies and new people entering the space. And these booms don't happen all the time, you know, whether it's an AI boom, the .com bubble, Bitcoin when it came out. I mean, that's a couple in our lifetime. People go, you know, decades and decades don't have opportunities like that. Like I read in a book one time, I don't remember the exact statistics, but it was something like out of the 100 richest people to ever live, you know, when you take in, currency rates, inflation, times, all those kinds of things, like 13 of them or something like that were born in the United States in the 1830s because they were just in the right place at the right time for that boom. Same thing with tech billionaires, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all of them. They were born at the right time and given some of the correct, like right advantages. Like Bill Gates went to, there's only two, like when he was in high school, there were only two high schools in the United States that had computers, and he went to one of them. And then in the summers, his parents paid the University of Washington or something for him to go work at their computer lab and learn stuff. So, you know, a lot of this stuff is like the circumstances that you're dealt. And we're having potentially a crypto bubble, potentially an AI bubble, you know, them meeting. I think that AI is the way.
Yeah. What are your favorite small caps, biggest holdings
On AI?
Yeah.
Well, I like
the stream.
I like AI tech a lot. I know some people have some concerns of it, thinking it's a little scammy. I mean, this is crypto. They're one of the only docs teams out there with a decent AI project. So at least they're docs. I like TARS AI. I think those two are like very solid fundamentally. Matter of fact, I was seeing something today about the need for data centers with the AI boom. So, you know, if AI tech is legit, then and it doesn't have the best tokenomics. It's okay. So my watch list.
AI tech like checks the boxes narrative wise in terms of what they do and everything. I like that they did an AMA like a month or so ago, and I like that because they are. You know, they do have like inflated like social numbers, right? They're botted, right? You could tell that like their socials aren't quite organic.
Yeah.
And you know, one of their milestones that they want to reach on their thing is like a $2 billion market cap. So there's some things about them that I don't love, but in terms of like their website and like their niche and what they do, they have a launch pad. They've launched a few legit projects on there, and they got their hand in AI agents and really like over the whole spectrum. As a small cap, I still hold them.
Yeah. AI as a service. They do like 4 or 5 different things that they can generate revenue from. I keep my watch list like organized by narrative and kind of like the amount that I hold to or close to it. So these two, AI tech, TARS AI, I think those are flagship type projects. AGI, I've talked about a bit lately. I think it's slept on. It's not as trendy as some of these other AI projects. Look, that's a nice little pattern coming off the bottom. And when I was doing some of these comparisons on what we can think about for gains, I was looking at what's in its way to get to the all-time high, what kind of gain is the all-time high, and then what could be some stretch targets using like Fibonacci extension and pivot points, because there's not a whole lot of things that are leading indicators. So AGI from current price, if it got back to the all-time high, that's 1,100%. That's a big gain. And there's not a ton in the way. There's one kind of swing high, an area of congestion. I don't really consider this. I don't think it's going to provide too much resistance right here. So it doesn't have a ton in the way, and it's a little bit older than the other ones. It's not old though. It wasn't like Outlast Cycle. They check out their Twitter. They come out with some AI agent named Lucy recently. Like they do stuff. Fundamentally, it's a strong project. I think they just needed some more traction. And this is actually, if you were going to ask me like, what's the best AI coin, all things considered, you could buy right now, I might say AGI.
In terms of small caps.
Well, it's got about the same market cap as AI Tech, TARS AI.
What is it, 30, 40 million now? No.
AGI was a larger cap. So,
Yeah, I remember it being over 100.
Yeah, now it's I would bet it's like 60 or 70. Now there is some token dilution, so it's 80 now. There is some token dilution, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but we did look at all this last
It's 103.
year. So according to market cap is 80. So I know that's not always accurate.
Yeah.
Then Hash AI. I know you like Hash AI as well.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, I think it's strong.
I bought some more Hash AI today. I've been DCAing in that over the last month or so, at least.
Yeah, Hash is one that I didn't actually have. I got into it at these lows, and then I've kind of DCA'd ever since. But to the all-time high, about a 300% gain. Not the greatest gain, but also there's not a ton in its way. This swing high right here. So I think in this case, this is good. This is a positive that the all-time high is only about 300%. We always say only 300%.
Right, because they didn't go in price discovery.
Right, and there's not much to get in its way. So, because you actually told me about there's some stuff about the founders buying Lambos and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
I mean, that's not stuff you really want to hear, but hey, I mean, they get there as long as the project does well. Who cares?
Yeah, maybe it's out of the way now.
Astra, I like this one too. My only thing with this one, the liquidity is thin. So, my expectations for Astra wouldn't be like, to have like a big 5-digit bag expecting, to cash out in the hundreds of thousands because the liquidity just isn't there. So you need to have like those kind of expectations. Palm, this is one I found early, at its launch, like under $1 million market cap. I think it's a good one. I think this is a more solid, safe one. When you look at the gain to all-time high, it's like 600%, somewhere in there. It's pretty good. It does have some stuff in the way. But I think Palm AI is solid. Swarms is one that I think if you want to go something a little more degen that could print massive gains, then Swarms is that. To the all-time high, 2,500%. And there's really not a ton in the way of it. It's one of the top AI agent projects on Solana. So I don't think that it is out of the question for it to get up there and even go to price discovery. Now, offhand, I can't remember the tokenomics so much. So you may want to look into that a little more. But this one's a little more degen, but I think that it could print big gains if it gets rolling.
Yeah. Talk about XMW for Doodle Lover over here, man.
I'll look at it on a deck screener chart because I don't think it's on TradingView. Or AI, just touch on it real quick. This is an older AI project. If you want something a little more solid, a little more higher cap, it'll probably put in some good gains, but, don't expect a 30x, a little safer. Spec is one of my biggest losers this cycle. I'd heard some really good things about it. This and TET would be the things that I lost on the most this cycle. Not that I put a huge amount in it, but I was DCA in it, and it just continued to go down. When it pumped up here a little bit, I did reallocate some of it. I have a small bag now. OORT is a strong project fundamentally. I have a small bag. Crypto Seth, he's somebody I respect what some of the coins he puts out. If I'm not familiar with him, I'll at least check him out. So this is one he had put out. So just because of that, I bought a small bag, and it was strong fundamentally. He was definitely right about that, but I didn't like the tokenomics and some other things about it. So I didn't make it one of my main holds. Like I said, I have this kind of in order of how I hold them. So that's all I got on my AI watch list there. And I will look at XMW on Deck Screener. So $27 million market cap, 2 million liquidity. That's good. That's a pretty good liquidity pool right there. On chart, I feel it's a good place to buy. On these lows, you got a nice little string of green candles coming off the bottom. Let's see what it looks like on the weekly. Yeah, paints the same picture more or less.
Mhm.
You know,
A
you could.
whale just sold out, and that caused some pressure.
Okay. There's sales tax. I mean, I think that can be a good thing. It can deter people from selling. And I don't know exactly what they do with the sales tax, but I'm assuming they use it for the project, so it generates.
Yeah, yes, but I think it's buybacks or something. Yeah,
Yeah, because if you have some kind of service you're actually making money on, which is very rare in crypto. The only ways you can make money is to sell your token, dump your token on the market, or to have some kind of tax. So I actually think the tax for me is kind of the way I look at it is kind of a good thing. I think it could be at its lows here. I do. If this wasn't like bull market happening, then I wouldn't like this chart so much. I would say, okay, it made a lower high and it broke this level here, and is trading under it and it isn't getting a huge bounce. But because of the circumstances, because it's AI, because I think it's a good AI project, some of these other things I mentioned, I don't see this as like a bear flag that's going to reject off resistance. I look at it as it's holding this general level of support from over here.
yeah, I've been buying a bit aggressively over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, they generate revenue. I think they're funding Bitcoin mining, um, and then they're using the revenue from that also to do buybacks and things like that. So they do a lot.
Yeah, so those are the main, AI coins that
And
I'm into or look at.
you look at Banker. Banker is a nice chart. Have you noticed it?
Mm-mm.
Have you seen it on the timeline? People using Banker on Twitter, saying like Banker, send this person whatever.
Yes, I have seen that.
Yeah, so it's like a bot that you can set up to make trades, to send people crypto, and just like automates everything.
Now, another one I want to bring up because I don't want people to think that I forgot this one is Cookie DAO, which I think is fundamentally one of the strongest projects in crypto. Um, but here's the thing: these tokenomics are, if this is accurate, then these are the worst tokenomics. It's so bad. So airdrop 2%. So that's just tokens diluting the market, nothing backing them. Public, I assume that's some kind of public sale, then pre-sale. So these people got it at a discount. Seed, these people got it at a discount. Call 3%. That's just diluting
Wow.
tokens.
Yeah.
Strategic, not sure what that means at 6%, but I guess it sounds like money to help fund the project. Tokens set aside to sell and sell the project. Pre-seed A, B, and C. I have to assume that all of these people also got it at a discount. Liquidity listings and staking as well in that 18%. So that even if it was just 18% liquidity, that's pretty low. And some of that could be for staking rewards, which is just diluting tokens. Marketing 6%, more token dilution. Treasury, maybe that's 8%. Maybe that means they put tokens in a treasury and don't touch them for years. Maybe advisory, 5% token dilution, dumping them on the market. Ecosystem incentives. I mean, that can be token dilution, but it can also be a good thing because it gets people involved in your project. Then Bybit IDO, which I guess people got at a discount, but that's still only 0.8%. And it looks like if coin market cap is right, that it's pretty much all unlocked. So it's not like these are unlocks that are going to happen down the road. All these people are holding the token. And maybe this is not accurate. And in the stream I did, I talked about this too. I know a lot of people watch me and you, but just to show, like, I'm not just picking on Cookie DAO here. AI Tech doesn't have the best overall tokenomics either, but it's not as bad as Cookie DAO. Team 12%, a little high, but not too bad. Advisors 2%, that's token dilution. Ecosystem, kind of like incentives, that could mean a few different things. Coal only 1%. Public sale, a seed sale, a pre-public, so some of these people got it at a discount. Private, there is a bit of that out there. So I don't love the AI tech tokenomics either. But the Cookie DAO ones, they look really bad to me.
What does Cookie DAO do? I don't even remember.
I'm pretty sure like an AI agent, like they launch AI projects or something. Let me see. Because I know it says DAO, but I'm quite sure. Let's see about. Oh no, I'm on AI Tech. Oops. Guarantees keeps gathering the growing amount of AI agent utility token that grants access to the token gated, whatever, some kind of AI agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's AI agent project.
Big narrative this second half of the year.
Say that again.
You think AI agents were super hot for that period of time. You think AI agents will still carry weight in the last half of the year?
Yeah, I think it's a sign of things to come, because it's kind of like AI projects that have some sort of utility which people like. I don't think it's going to be like we saw before like that. I see something I'm not sure about what we're going to see as the market progresses, because people like new stuff so much. Are we going to start seeing a bunch of new projects, like a new project boom again? Or people are going to be like, okay, we know what's been out, what's kind of good, and we're going to stick with that. That's what I would prefer to see. But I don't really know if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination. I think when things, they're going to be hot launches that people chase and ride up. That there are going to be a ton of things that launch now. There have been people waiting to launch at the right time.
Yeah, and there could be some of that, and so that stuff normally is good. Was I not sharing my coin market cap screen when I was looking at those tokenomics and stuff?
No, you were. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, not bad. So yeah, I think the AI agent stuff will do good. The virtuals, that's a good one too. It's a higher market cap, but I think that's a pretty safe one. I have it down here at the bottom of my watch list. Looking pretty good on chart. Just such a massive pump with a small, not a big pullback. I feel there's a lot of people holding this project, and it does have a fairly high market cap, but it's safer, it's higher cap, fundamentally strong, maybe the most fundamentally strong AI project in all of crypto. Yeah. Cookie Gal and Virtual's both up there.
When you look at this chart, and a lot of charts end up looking, in a crypto market, you see how fast things 10x in a hot market. It's a matter of weeks.
Yep. So something else I wanted to touch on, because I get questions about this, or I see a lot of talk about it, and people asking about when to take profit, and they don't want to, a lot of people were here last market cycle and round tripped and bag held for a long time. And so some tips that can help you a lot. Certain bags that you have, maybe earmark those for not selling at the top of the bull market. Like, say, for example, I have that leverage long running on Say. I didn't do stupid leverage. It's 3x that I entered around 0.20. And my outlook with this is when it hits a certain, I'm looking for it to go to, I'll look at it on chart. I'm looking for Say to go to this here, and there's not much in the way of it. I mean, especially if this weekly candle doesn't just wick down, if it holds anywhere in this range, I do not think that it is going to be too difficult or too far-fetched, as long as the market stays okay for Say to hit that. So if Say hits that, I'm cashing it out, 100% of that position, sending it to bank accounts or whatever, and that'll be money that I have to help me in real life, whatever I got going on or stuff like that. And I'm not, it'll put you at ease a little more. I have this money from this position. I paid this off. I got this. I got some money to go on a trip, buy a new car, whatever the case is. And then you feel more comfortable letting some of your other bags run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. It relieves some of the pressure because you've already booked some profits. I think that's important. I think the psychology of selling is really important, but a lot of people mess up, including myself. I've messed up in terms of, I think everyone is. If you've been in crypto, you round tripped something, right? At least one time, maybe multiple times. And so I think everyone needs a strategy, especially, as things are expected to heat up now. You want to be prepared to take profits and, nibble, take them along the way, and you'll feel better. You won't feel the stress of like, when should I sell?
It's another good point you brought up. Getting used to the act of selling and making it not just this big, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to sell, but then what if it goes, just make it more casual. Like, yeah, I'll just sell this or whatever, and I can buy it back later if I want. Just become to where it's not such a big deal to sell something. But if you earmark certain parts of your bag to maybe sell at a certain price or lock in some profit on certain things, so you're just not like all or nothing. I'm going to sell everything I have at the top of the market. What do you think the chances are of that? I certainly don't sell everything at the top all the time. I mean, last cycle, Bitcoin in the bottom, but alts can be a different animal. You can be the best TA person in the world. You don't know with alts who's holding what, tokenomics, liquidity, all these kinds of things that make such a big factor. I can be the best TA person in the world, and there's no way I could call at the top of every single alt.
And the thing is, they top out at different times. Not everything tops at the same time. And last cycle there was tons of money flowing into this space, and I have some, I broke it up in data, and by month, and it was like 20% topped at the in this point, 40% topped in May, 30% topped in September, and so they top at different times. So you can't really time when everything is going to top. What I do is I'll break down my bag, my Devve bag, and I'll say, all right, if I sold 10% at this price, let's say it's like $1, 10% at $2, 10% at this price, how much would I walk away with? And you still walk away with a good amount, right? And so it's important. So that's what I do to not deter me from selling at, when someone would say, why would you sell at like $1 when it's going to go to, whatever? It's because you got to get in the habit.
And as understanding liquidity is big too. Now, if it's euphoric bull market stage, hopefully just all the change in hands on volume will be, you can get the full amount for your bags. But like this example I showed with LBM on my stream, for those people that didn't watch it.
I don't think you switched on screen.
No, not yet. But
all
thanks
right.
for reminding me, because I can be bad for that sometimes. Hold on, let me see. Is there a bigger liquidity pool? No, that's small. Okay. So liquidity pool for LBM, 2.5 million with a 220K market cap. So, and this is why there's a lot of tokenomics games out there. So Chuck at I think an $800,000 to $900,000 market cap right now has a bigger liquidity pool than LBM. So, and then only half of this liquidity is actual ETH because it's paired with the LBM token. So
how much liquidity does it have?
220.
And it's a $2 million.
2.5 million according to next year.
Right. So 220, but half of that is ETH.
Yeah, because when you look at the liquidity pool, you always got to look at it as like half. I mean, not that the token, if you look at any crypto token, like just general altcoins that aren't like, ETH, Solana, Bitcoin, whatever, as not really being worth, just say they're like not worth anything, that the ETH is what backs the price, and that's how it starts. And then the token gets value, and that's how the liquidity pool can grow a lot. And then the market cap, the liquidity pool continues to inflate. So even when you get in a bull market and you look at a lot of stuff going on, you still want to refer back to this, because say you could have something, and I've seen this, these meme coins, they'll have $100 million market cap, less than $1 million liquidity pool.
Right. So you could have $1 million on paper, but there's not that money doesn't exist in the liquidity pool.
No. So when LBM started to pump, it was around here in the mid threes, I started to sell some, and then I sold heavier up here, in the fives, mid fives. Not that I was selling real heavy, but when I looked at it, and so the liquidity pool was lower then because the price was lower. And my bag, if I would have sold it for the realized value, it was about 20% of the actual ETH in the liquidity pool. So one, that would crash the project, and you just, you can't really realize all those gains. You have to sell out low if you have a decent percentage of a project like that. And I don't want to do any harm to the project. Me selling on the way up, it's better to get some of it out of my hands if I have a lot. And I bought at less than $1 million market cap. I bought quite a bit at $600,000 to $700,000 market cap. So that's already like a 3 to 4x when it was, around here. So it's better to get some of that out of my hands now here than when it gets so up here and I have so much. And at some point I'm like, well, I have to sell a big amount or something. It's a lot better to get it out of my hands down here. But understanding these things should help people also, cash out of their bags more strategically. and being aware of the liquidity.
Yeah. Jaccarini says, do tier 1 exchanges wait till alt season to list the popular medium cap coins? Yeah, they definitely list more when the market's hot, but they're looking for volume, and they're making money on the buys and the sells. And when there are buys and sells, that's when they're going to be listing.
Yeah, they'll list you a coin for free if it's generating a lot of volume because they want the trading fees. Other than that, I think projects are also a little more likely to list on them when things are hot because they'll have a little bit more cash and money on hand to be able to do that. But exchange listings are expensive. And you got to pay a market maker every month for each exchange you're listed on as well.
Yeah, it's very like they extract money from projects.
Yeah, big time. So for projects, they don't really want to do that when nothing's going on or not as much is going on to fork the money out for the exchange and then have to pay the market maker for however long.
Yeah, but this cycle with the advancements in wallets and dexes and base wallets specifically, I think there's less of a need for big exchanges.
I feel the same way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now with this new wallet from Coinbase coming out, I think tomorrow, we'll see what that does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've been off about an hour and a half. I got to actually run. I got to go get dinner and then pick up my son from work. But good chatting with you, Ron. Thanks for coming through.
Sorry, I was a little bit late.
Yeah, and anyone wants to join Ron's Telegram, you got a new website now. It's linked in the description. It's a private Telegram. $250 for entry for the year, and access. There's trading in there. Ideas for leverage trading, shorting, longing, holding small alts, all things like that. And now there's a website, and you can buy on credit card. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can buy. You can use a credit card to get it now. You see everything I do. And I put out moves on the way up. Like when I was selling LBM, when I sold AI, some AI tech, some TARS AI, and some Hash AI at their local highs, and when I bought it back at to increase the positions. There's another guy in there who's a funded trader, ICT guy. He hasn't been posted much lately. He's just not as much going on, but he'll get back in there. Sona, he puts out calls in there. We got an NFT expert. We try to offer a lot. Depends on what the market gives you, but we'll try to take what the market's given. If meme coins get good again, people making those, we'll make some more meme coins or try to. We'll at least look at it. So we try to do, a lot in there. Especially good if you're new to crypto. Get involved in a community, some people that will look out for you and help you along, answer questions and things like that.
Yep. So come through, check it out. Thanks for coming on, Ron. Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon, brother.
Right on, man.
Peace, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe and follow Ron.